In a distant kingdom, nestled between rolling hills and forests, there lived a young girl named Ella. Ella's life was once full of love and warmth, as she had been raised by her devoted mother and father. However, tragedy struck when her mother fell ill and passed away, leaving Ella and her father heartbroken. Her father, seeking companionship and perhaps believing it would ease their grief, remarried. His new wife, a woman of cold demeanor, brought with her two daughters, vain, selfish girls who treated Ella with disdain. From the moment the new family arrived, Ella's life took a dramatic turn. Her father, busy with his business, often remained oblivious to the cruelty of his new wife and stepdaughters. Ella, however, was forced to serve them all. She became little more than a servant in her own home, scrubbing floors, washing dishes, and tending to their every need. Yet, despite the harsh treatment, Ella never let bitterness take root in her heart. She continued to hold on to the values her mother had taught her: kindness, compassion, and resilience. Ella's room was small, dark, and dusty, far from the comfort the others enjoyed. But Ella, even in the face of cruelty, never lost her sense of kindness. She would often smile to herself, finding solace in the small things: the birds that visited her window, the scent of fresh flowers in the garden, and the simple joys of helping those around her, even if they didn't appreciate it. One day, an announcement echoed throughout the kingdom. The king was hosting a grand ball in honor of his son, Prince Alistair. The ball's purpose was simple. Prince Alistair was to find a bride, and the king wished for every eligible maiden in the kingdom to attend. When Ella's stepsisters heard of this, they were ecstatic. They spent days preparing, picking out extravagant gowns, and discussing their plans to win the prince's favor. Ella, too, dreamed of attending the ball, though she knew it would be impossible. She had nothing fine to wear, and her stepmother would never allow her to go. On the night before the ball, Ella sat alone in the garden, staring up at the stars and wondering what it would be like to dance at such an event. Her heart, full of longing, was heavy with the weight of the years she had spent in servitude. But in her sadness, Ella didn't give in to despair. Instead, she whispered a silent prayer to the universe, asking for just one chance to experience the magic of the night. As if answering her prayer, a soft, gentle light appeared before her. It was her fairy godmother, a magical being who had watched over Ella since she was a child. The fairy godmother, seeing the pure heart Ella possessed, smiled warmly and said, "My dear, you have a spirit that shines brighter than any crown or gown. You deserve a night of happiness and joy, and so I will grant your wish." With a wave of her wand, the fairy godmother worked her magic. Ella's tattered dress transformed into a gown of shimmering blue and silver, the fabric flowing like water in a stream. Her worn out shoes became delicate glass slippers, transparent and delicate, capturing the light with every step she took. The pumpkins in the garden were transformed into a majestic carriage, and the mice that Ella had befriended became powerful horses. A few simple birds became her attendants, ready to take her to the ball. The fairy godmother's magic came with a warning, though. This spell will break at midnight. When the clock strikes 12, all will return to its original form. You must return home by then. With a nod, Ella promised to follow the advice. At the ball, Ella arrived as a vision of grace. She was unrecognizable to her stepsisters, who, in their vanity, were too absorbed in their own appearances to notice the quiet, dignified woman who had entered the room. Prince Alistair, meanwhile, was captivated the moment he saw Ella. He had never met anyone so composed, so elegant in both appearance and demeanor. The two shared a dance, and as they moved across the floor, it was as though the world faded away. Only the two of them existed. There was an instant connection, an unspoken bond between them. For the first time in her life, Ella felt seen, not as the poor servant, not as the girl bound by circumstances, but as a woman of worth and dignity. Prince Alistair was enchanted not by her beauty alone, but by her kind, gentle nature, which shone through every action she took. Their connection was deeper than mere physical attraction. It was the recognition of kindred spirits, a meeting of hearts. But as the clock struck the midnight, panic rose in Ella's chest. She remembered the fairy godmother's warning. With a hurried apology, Ella fled the ball, leaving behind a single glass slipper. The prince, bewildered but determined, picked it up and vowed to find the woman who had stolen his heart. The search began across the kingdom. Prince Alistair was relentless, visiting every house, trying the slipper on every maiden. When he arrived at Ella's home, her stepsisters eagerly tried the slipper, but it didn't fit. Ella, who had been watching from afar, knew this was her moment. With quiet dignity, she stepped forward and tried the slipper on. It fit perfectly, as if it had been made for her alone. The prince, overjoyed, immediately recognized her as the woman he had danced with at the ball. He asked for her hand in marriage, but Ella, wise beyond her years, hesitated. She had learned through her suffering that true love was not about titles or crowns, but about trust and mutual respect. She didn't want to marry simply because it was expected, but because she truly believed in their connection. I will marry you, not because you are a prince, but because I see in you the same kindness, the same heart that I have. Let us rule together with love and fairness, Ella said. Prince Alistair, moved by her words, agreed. They were married in a grand ceremony, but it wasn't the splendor of the event that mattered. What mattered was the love and respect they shared, which was more precious than any royal title. Together, they ruled the kingdom with wisdom and compassion, bringing prosperity and peace to their people. Ella never forgot her humble beginnings and made sure to use her position to help those in need, always remembering that kindness and love were the true foundations of strength. She became a queen not only in name but in spirit, a symbol of hope and goodness in a world that often seemed dark. And so, Ella and Prince Alistair lived happily ever after.